All right, good morning everyone. I've got my coffee, I'm ready to go. And yeah, welcome to episode 5 of the PsychFit podcast. So, my marathon is in 3 days and it's starting to get very real. It's a bit overcast today, so I'm hoping it's not going to be a rainy marathon day. But I guess that just adds to the fun. So marathon, that'll be fun. I'm sure you've heard enough of that for the last couple of podcasts. So I won't be talking about that today. But a little bit of excitement for my morning, I just wanted to tell you about. About like an hour ago, a couple of police cars pulled up next door. And then another one came, and then another one, and another one, and another one. And there was 6 police cars next door, and they were all just sort of hanging around. They didn't really know what was going on. Well, I'm sure they probably knew what was going on, but they sort of were hanging around. We didn't know what was going on. But it was a bit exciting. So me and my housemate were just sitting looking out the window. And then one of the policemen came to our door and just asked if we'd seen anything suspicious, and I mean I haven't, but I wonder what's going on in my neighborhood. So that was a bit of excitement for my morning. And my Cert 4 starts tonight, so that's really exciting. It's with the National Health and Fitness Academy, NHFA, and I think the way the program runs, and because I did my Cert 3 in fitness with a different education provider, I am doing the whole program together. I think they do some overlaps with the Cert 3 and the Cert 4. So I'm actually going to do the content of my Cert 3 again. I don't think I have to do the assessments, but I just have to, go to all the content. So I think it's 13 weeks of Cert 3 and Cert 4 content and practicals and stuff. So we do our theory online and then our pracs in person. So my first prac is tonight, and I think we're doing lower body exercises and spotting and stuff like that. So that should be really cool. I'm very excited, and I'm keen to get that up and running, get it going. And I've been doing some theory this week, so I'm ahead of the game, and it's really cool. And the way the content is delivered is really helpful and better than my previous provider, education provider. So I'm excited to learn some more things. And I don't mean to brag, but I tested myself on my push-ups, and I got 6 push-ups on my toes unbroken. So that's not a new record for me, but at my point in life right now, it's a new record. For the next each week from now on, I'm going to test myself maybe every Monday or Tuesday and see how many push-ups I can get on my toes. And my goal is to get to 20 push-ups unbroken by New Year's Eve. So you'll just see me on New Year's Eve doing my push-ups. That's the goal. And I'm doing my yin yoga. So I've been doing yin yoga for a little bit now, a few months. And it's so lovely. So anyone who doesn't know what yin yoga is, it's basically where it's a very slow form of yoga. So you just basically hold poses, different poses for 3 to 5 minutes each. So it's basically just trying to get into those, stretching those deep muscles and just allowing your body to relax into the pose. So it's super nice. It goes for an hour, and it's really nice. And I've actually found that I'm getting I've had a few insights and creative ideas and stuff come up while I'm doing yin yoga. And, our brains are always working in the background. And when we let our brains like idle and, let them be in this meditative state, then it sort of gives our brain the opportunity to connect dots and be more creative and just do its thing. Like our brains love to idle. So I was having a look at the Calm website, which is like that Calm app, which have meditation and sleep stories and stuff. And on the Calm website, they were saying that alpha brain waves, which is sort of when we're in this meditative state, alpha brain waves are often referred to as the brain's idle state. They happen when the brain takes a break from intense activity, and it's a time for processing information and emotions, which may lead to new insights. So, allowing our brains to idle through things like meditation or just daydreaming or, relaxing on the couch, not having any distractions, not on your phone, or things like, light yoga practices like yin yoga, light reading, that sort of thing. Those things can help with, our creative projects or help us to think more clearly. And, maybe we've been trying to think of a name for our new cat, and all of a sudden if you do yin yoga, then it'll be like, oh yes, that's a perfect name for my cat. So it's really nice. So if you found yourself like a bit stressed or not able to come up with new ideas or be creative or find the answers that you're looking for, then maybe the answers are hidden in yin yoga. So I recommend to go to a class if you're able to. It's really nice. It's different to like the flow yogas and strength yoga and stuff. It's definitely not intense. It's just a time it's like basically stretching and meditating at the same time. So it's really nice. And I recommend if you're going to try it to actually go to a class. Don't just do a YouTube video or something. I love YouTube videos, but there's something about going to a class and like in the relaxing environment and the candles and the incense if they're burning that, and the music and stuff like that, and just being able to share the experience with other people as well. There's something really nice and calming about that. So I definitely don't feel myself get into those, I guess, alpha brain waves when I'm just doing yoga by myself, because I'm sort of thinking about other things and like a bit distracted and whatever. And it's not as, my little crampy room is not as relaxing as a nice yoga studio. It's a bit nicer in an actual class. That's all I want to say about that. And so I've been working with my nutritionist and performance coach. It's been really great. I'm loving it so far. And there's a couple of sort of key takeaways that I wanted to chat about, and which have really helped me this week to be more productive and just sort of help me sort of get into the flow of things and get things done. So the first thing is, I'm sure most of you have heard about this, is scheduling or time blocking. So this has really worked for me. And, I've always known about it, but when I actually implement it, then it helps a lot. So basically, putting it into your calendar of what you want to do in each hours of the day. That didn't really make sense. So, for me, I was struggling with, not really getting much done throughout the day. Like I was sort of scrolling Instagram, like not really focusing too much, like, oh, I should probably do this, or maybe I should do this. Like I might have like written down 3 things that I wanted to do, but then I didn't really, dedicate time for those tasks. So, I might have got to 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and haven't really done anything. And yet, it just sort of, time can just slip by if you're not sort of scheduling. When you're at work, and if you have like a 9 to 5, then it's a lot easier to, go to work. You've got like your to-do list or whatever you do at work. And it's a bit more structured because you're actually going into an office, you're getting paid, you have things that you need to get done. But if you're sort of in my position, and if you've got, you've got some study on the side, you've got podcasting, or you want to start a business, like you have a business, all these sort of side things, then having these schedules and like time blocking has really helped. So I basically put set times into my calendar. So for example, today I had from 9 till 10:30 a.m. was film podcast. And then I sort of left about 20 minutes blank to just sort of, maybe get a snack, do whatever. And then 10:45, 10:50 till 12 was like edit and upload podcast. And then, et cetera, et cetera. And having these set time blocks are good times to set deep work. So schedule in these dedicated deep work periods. And it's essentially when you eliminate distractions. So you put your phone on do not disturb, you put it away. It's not a time when you're, doing washing or unpacking the dishwasher or whatever. Like, it's just a time when you sit and you do work. And a technique I like to use, that a lot of people use, is called the Pomodoro technique. And it's essentially when you set a timer for, let's say 25 minutes, and then you are working for that 25 minutes, and then you have 5 minutes off. So that's the time when you can maybe like put a load of washing on, or go get a cup of coffee or whatever. Or you could just, get up, do a bit of stretching, like sort of just let your mind do whatever you want. Let your mind idle. And just chill out for 5 minutes. And then when that 5 minutes is up, then you set another 25-minute time block for however many you need to do. But it's pretty tricky to just do that the whole day. So, there's good times, like sort of every couple of hours, to dedicate like chill out or like random house chores like times. You don't have to actually put that in your calendar, but it's good to have, maybe like those 20-minute blocks of where it's just nothing. Whereas, like for example, if that task, the previous task goes over, or you want to work a little bit more on that, then you've got that 20-minute buffer. But then also it's a time when you can just be like, oh, I'm so tired, so I'm just gonna do random stuff, and just switch my brain off for 20 minutes, and then I'll come back to do some more work. So it's good to leave those little blank spaces, because what I was doing initially was I'd have my tasks like back to back, like not even a 5-minute break in between. It was just like from 9 till 10 I'll do Cert 3 study, from 10 till 11 I'll do podcasting, from 11 till 12 I'll do this, 11 till 1 is lunch. And then, if my lunch went 10 minutes over, then like I'd be already 10 minutes behind. And so it's good to have those buffers. Yes. So I'm really liking the scheduling, and it's definitely really helping me to stay productive and get things done. And I'm looking forward to like each of the things. So I'll schedule it and make sure if it's, if it's a bit of an annoying task, I'll tend to put it sort of at the start of the day when I'm less agitated. And it's a like time when I work better is in the morning. What else was I saying about that? And I'll, oh, my coffee's getting cold. If it's like an annoying task, then I'll put it in between like good tasks. So I'm like, okay, I can do this fun task for an hour, and then I'm going to do this annoying task for an hour, but then I can go back and do this fun task for another hour. So I think that works quite nicely for me. But honestly, when I'm doing like my business stuff and actually sort of getting into the flow of what I really want to do, then I'm finding like most of the things I'm doing, I'm actually really enjoying. So it's really nice. Like I don't really dislike too much of what I'm doing, which is really nice. Probably filming my podcast is one of the things I'm like, oh, do I have to do it? Or like the sort of thing that I put off slightly. I'm like, oh, I've got to, maybe I just got to go brush my teeth first or do whatever, like make sure everything's perfect. So that's sort of the one thing that I'm a little bit procrastinating on. So I like to have that schedule, like, okay, I need to start filming by 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whatever. But I always love when I actually do it. It's really fun. And it always turns out slightly better than I think it's going. So that's nice. Awesome, another plane. And I put number 1, scheduling and time blocking. Number 2, meal plan. There's literally only 2. So the second and final thing that I got out of this week with my nutritionist and performance coach is meal planning, which seems simple. And it's not so much meal prepping. So meal prepping is when you're actually making a big meal and, maybe like making a bunch of dinners and putting them in the freezer. You're prepping your meals for the week. This is just planning your meals for the week. So it's essentially like scheduling. You're writing, you can go into as much detail as you want, but all I really focus on is what am I going to have for lunch and what am I going to have for dinner. So I just put I've got my week schedule, I've got lunch and dinner. And because I don't have it again. Because I'm getting HelloFresh now, I get 3 meals delivered, and you get the ingredients and you have to cook the meal. Like you get the recipe card. And the 3 meals that I have make a meal for 2 people. So for me and me the next day. So I know I need to cook those 3 meals throughout the week, and then I'll have 3 like leftover meals. So they're good. For me personally, I prefer to cook at lunchtime because at dinner, I'm a bit more tired and I'd rather just like heat up something in the microwave and then I'm ready to start eating. So I'll tend to cook a HelloFresh meal at lunch, and then I'll have that meal for dinner the next day. So then I'm cooking a meal and then I'm having the leftovers from yesterday for dinner. And then I'm cooking a meal and then I'm eating the leftovers from yesterday for dinner. But obviously with only 3 meals, that only happens 3 days. So then on the other day, I might be like, okay, I'm gonna make like a veggie bake or something, which is gonna make 4 meals. So then I know I'll cook on that day, and then I might have leftovers, for lunch the next day and then dinner the next day or something. So then I sort of plan it out. And then each time I actually execute that meal, then I make it green. And if I don't execute the meal, I make it red. But it's just sort of a good way to see how well I can plan my week. And, if I like to go grocery shopping once a week, then if I'm able to meal plan well and I can see that most of them are green, then I'd be able to, budget more effectively and be able to buy the food, like the exact food that I'll need for the week. and not have like food waste and stuff as well. So yeah, meal planning has helped me stay accountable with my eating, for one. And it helps take the uncertainty and like the choice and the decision out of cooking and like eating a meal. Because I used to find previously that, or like lately, that I'd get lazy, or I wouldn't have stuff in the fridge. Like I wouldn't have anything to make anything. So I would sort of get to 11:30 and about to decide what I'm going to have for lunch, and I don't have anything for lunch, and then I'm tired and upset and I don't have any lunch. So then I just end up having like cereal or something. That was sort of the pattern that I was going through. I'd be like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I don't have anything to eat. Oh, okay, I'll just have this. So the meal planning has now, like I look at it, like firstly I look at it at the start of the week and I plan it all out. And then I look at it each morning and go, oh, okay, cool. This is what I'm going to have for lunch. This is what I'm going to have for dinner. And then I just make sure, well, it will already be there because I've already planned it out. So yeah, that's good. And then it also, like, I'm excited for that meal or whatever. So I can be like, oh, cool. I think I'm having Japanese crumbed tofu for lunch today. So that's really cool. I'm excited to try that. Because HelloFresh meals are always really yummy, and the flavors are really yummy. So I haven't had a bad meal yet. Even there was one last week that was like a cauliflower ricey thing. And I think I was like, when I ordered it online, I was sort of in that mood and I'm like, oh, that looks really healthy. That looks yum. And then when I got the recipe card, I was like, ooh, that doesn't look very good. But I made it and it was actually delicious. So I haven't had a bad meal with HelloFresh yet. So that's very good. And then going on from that, I wanted to talk about like decision making and decision fatigue. So with my meal planning and even with my scheduling, it eliminates the need for decision making. So I was looking at this website, just researching about decision fatigue, and this is from the American Medical Association. And they say that humans make over 35,000 decisions every single day. So, from deciding which way to drive to work, or deciding what to have for lunch, deciding whether or not to have like that cookie after lunch or not, deciding whether to get a coffee, all these like little decisions, deciding to get up out of my chair and go get a glass of water or not do that. Like all those little decisions, we make 35,000 of them a day. So there is a thing called decision fatigue, and it's basically when we are so fatigued throughout the day from making decisions that, we start, symptoms start to occur and we start not making as good decisions or just avoiding decisions altogether. So if we can take nutrition mostly out of the decision-making process by meal planning, by meal planning the important meals for you. So, my breakfast is pretty solid, so I don't really worry about that. I usually have basically the same thing every day. But it's just my lunch and my dinner that I was like, oh, what should I eat? And I was just constantly every day, like stressing over what I'm going to eat for lunch and dinner. So by meal planning, that takes the decision-making process out of your nutrition, and that can not only help with decision fatigue, but also help you make, better decisions, better choices with your health, at least most of the time anyway. It doesn't matter if you, get takeout or something like one of the nights, or, go out with friends or whatever, like that sort of stuff happens, and should happen. But at least, most of the time your meals are set out and you're not just making the lazy decision. And the key also with meal planning is to make the meal plan realistic to you. So as I was saying, like, I don't really like cooking at nighttime. Like, sometimes I do if I don't have a busy day or whatever. But I also don't like cooking more than once a day. So like, if I had to cook my lunch and then cook a whole new meal for my dinner every single day, that would drive me crazy. So I know that with my meal plan, I need to schedule it so that I cook once, either lunch or dinner, and then have leftovers once. So I need to make sure that I have a leftover from a previous day that I could have on each of those days, which usually means that when I cook, I'm cooking at least 2 meals each time in that batch. So that's realistic for me. And it also takes time to learn that sort of stuff and learn about your habits and like your little learnings about yourself. I've written another tip is always eat a healthy meal before you go grocery shopping. So never go grocery shopping hungry, and always write a list of what you're going to buy at the grocery store. Because if you, like, I've done it before, like, you don't have a list, you just go to the grocery store, you're already hungry, and then you just like go through the lolly aisle and the cookie aisle, and you just like get all the bad foods. And you're like, oh yum, frozen pizza, I'll have that for dinner. And like, you buy all this stuff, and then like the next day you're like, who went shopping? So yes, eat a healthy meal before you go grocery shopping. And I always say healthy Meg needs to always be the one doing the shopping, because nutrition starts at the grocery store. And then snacky Meg can just have a hissy fit later and get over it. That's my motto. And sometimes every now and then I'll reward myself with, some chocolate or whatever. And another thing, if I want like cookies or something, then I will buy the stuff to make cookies. So then, if I go to all the effort to actually bake the cookies and, enjoy the process of baking the cookies, then I know that I actually want the cookies, and I'm not just being lazy or like wanting a dopamine hit and just like grabbing cookies off the shelf of the grocery store. Like, if I actually want cookies, I will bake the cookies. And they always taste nicer as well. So yes, if you want it, bake it yourself. Okay. Oh yeah, this was quite cool actually. So more on decision fatigue with the American Medical Association. They say that the more choices you have to make, the more it can wear on your brain, and it may cause your brain to look for shortcuts. So there's four main symptoms of decision fatigue, and that's procrastination, impulsivity, avoidance, and indecision. So when we're fatigued, when we're experiencing decision fatigue, we either put off the decision, we make a wild or easy decision through impulsivity, we avoid to even make a decision altogether, or we bounce back and forth between decisions, and we're stuck in this indecision cycle. And that can cause a lot of uncertainty and just not nice feelings. So some examples to help reduce decision fatigue are things like meal planning and scheduling your day, so you don't have to be thinking like, oh, what task should I do next? Or how long should I spend on this? Or what needs to be done? Like, you've already got it all set out and you know what needs to be done and how long it needs to be done for. And then I also mentioned this, is write a list when you go grocery shopping, because even just the act of going to the grocery store without a list, like imagine the amount of decisions you have to make if you don't have a list. Like you have to walk down each aisle and go, do I need that? Yes, no. Do I need that? Yes, no. Like you'd make like 100 decisions just at the grocery store if you didn't have a list. Or you'd be like, oh, milk, did we need milk? Like, and that just like all of that sort of stuff adds up to fatiguing your brain. And then, you know, by the time you get to the afternoon, you're exhausted and don't want to make any decisions. And, you know, your partner asks you what you want for dinner and you're like, don't even talk to me. So like that sort of stuff just can all weigh on your mind. So yeah, write a list when you go to the grocery store, or even any kind of shopping. If you're going to, you know, Bunnings or the hardware store or whatever, write a list. Choose your clothes the night before. So we always make our best decisions in the morning. So we don't really want to, you know, waste a decision trying to choose like what outfit we're going to wear or what shoes we're going to wear. So yeah, choose your clothes the night before, or even lay them out. Same with like your gym clothes and stuff. Get into a good gym routine. I already said that. Scheduling in your priorities for the day, making sure they get done. Even things like setting up your bills to come out automatically. So like your phone bills or electricity bills or whatever, you know, it just sort of stops that like, oh, have I paid this, or when should I pay this? You know, having them either coming out automatically or put them as soon as you get the bill or the reminder to pay your bill, put it into your calendar, like phone bill due today, and then like 2 days before that, right, pay phone bill. So then you know, like it reminds you a couple of times. Morning routines and evening routines. So I sort of went over that in a previous podcast episode. But yeah, things like if you have in your morning routine that you go to the gym at 7 a.m. every like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, then that takes the decision out of that part of your day. That takes the decision out of going to the gym. So instead of going like waking up and going, oh, should I go to the gym today? Oh, I don't know. Like, and then having to like fight with yourself in the morning of whether you should go to the gym or not, have it in your morning routine. So every Monday, 7 a.m., I'm going to the gym. It doesn't matter if I feel like it or not. Like that's a non-negotiable and it's in your routine. So yeah, having those routines definitely helps. And then following on from that is like developing habits. So once you do certain activities, you know, enough times and for long enough, then they start to become habits and they don't require that decision-making skill anymore, because it just becomes autopilot, like on autopilot. And then yeah, another thing is setting alarms. I love alarms, not to wake up. I'm not talking about wake up alarms. I'm talking about alarms for medications, alarms for when to start getting ready to go to your class or start getting ready to go to your friends for dinner. And also alarms to start working on different tasks. So if you're like, okay, I want to start, I'm going to write my next podcast episode. I want to do this for about an hour. So at 11 a.m., I'm going to set an alarm and that's going to tell me to start working on my next project or whatever, rather than, you know, having to always check your laptop, like, oh, what time is it? Oh, what time is it? Is it time to swap tasks or whatever? And, you know, as nice as it can be when you're like in a flow of doing something, if you have 3 priorities on your list and, you know, you spend the whole day doing the first thing, then, you know, that it depends on the thing. If that first thing was the biggest priority, then that's pretty good. But, you know, if you need to get all 3 things done and you don't really realize how much time's going by, then that's probably not good either. So yeah, setting alarms for things. I love using alarms. So yes. And yeah, the last thing is to accept and be happy with the decisions that you make. So don't second guess yourself. Like, once you've made the decision, be happy with that, because we all make the best decisions that we can with the resources that we have at the time. So we've all heard those people saying like, oh, I should have done it this way, or I should have chosen this option. But, you know, there's no way of knowing that decision, the other decision, would have been a better decision. So, like, I heard someone once say that we can never know the outcome of two decisions, of two pathways. So you should never be disappointed with the decision you've made. So, you know, let's say you're at a restaurant and you are sort of tossing up between like getting the lentil curry, my favorite, the lentil curry, or the steak and chips. And you're sort of like, oh, which one should I get? And you end up going with the lentil curry, and, you know, you get it. Maybe it's the flavor's not really that great. Maybe there's not enough sauce. Like, it's just, you know, it's kind of average. It's not that great. So then, you know, you think in your head, oh, I should have got the steak. But there's no way of you knowing, unless your friend ordered the steak and gives you some steak, or if you're even hungrier after, so then you order the steak. But let's just say, for argument's sake, you did not taste the steak. There's no way for you to know that the steak wouldn't have been even worse. So you could have got the steak and it could have been dry and disgusting, and then you thought, oh, I should have got the lentil curry. So there's no way for you to know the outcome of both options that you're choosing from. So you should always be satisfied with the decision that you make, because it's always the best decision with what knowledge and resources you have at the time. So be satisfied and make your decision and move on. There's a famous businessman, I forget who it was, but I think he was in, or someone asked him, or he was in an interview or something, and he was asked, how do you make important decisions? And he answered, quickly. That's all he answered with. So there's a thing called the 51% rule that I know Stephen Bartlett uses. It's basically, once you're 51% certain about a decision, then you should make it. So like about a choice, 51%, as much as like, so once you've hit like 51% sure, then make the decision. I know Jeff Bezos, well, I don't know, but this is what Google says. Jeff Bezos uses a 70% rule. So he'll make a decision with about 70% of the information. So, you know, it depends on the magnitude of the decision, right? If Jeff Bezos is making $1 billion decision, then he's probably going to want like 70%, you know, knowledge and certainty about that decision. Whereas, you know, if it's a decision about, should I have the lentil curry or the steak? Like, you know, just make a decision. Once you're 51% lentil curry, then just choose the lentil curry. But it's basically, the concept is make decisions quickly and move on, because more is lost through indecision than through wrong decisions. So, you know, so many times people are like, oh, I don't know which one to do. And then, you know, 1, 2, 3 years go by and they still haven't made a decision. So much is lost from indecision rather than the wrong decision. So yeah, I encourage you to just be decisive with your actions today, and, you know, work on ways that you can streamline your day to make less unnecessary decisions and leave room for more, you know, important and creative decisions. So yeah, whether you want to try, you know, doing the scheduling or time blocking or doing some meal planning, Or maybe you want to try some of those decision fatigue techniques to avoid decision fatigue. Or maybe you want to try some yin yoga. I love yin yoga. There's so many benefits. Then yeah, give it a go and let me know what you think. Yeah, our brains love to idle. We can't expect our brains to be deeply concentrating all day, just like we can't expect our bodies to be lifting weights all day. So yeah, hopefully those sort of little things helped you guys. I finished my coffee. It was a little bit cold by the end, but that's all right. Still yummy. And I'll speak to you guys next week when I have run a marathon. So that's so cool. Something that I was always like a big dream, and something that I didn't really see myself doing. Like, it was always like, wow, that would be so cool if I could run a marathon. Like, what a huge achievement. Mower man's just speeding down the road, on the road, not even on the grass, as you do. But yeah, anyway, sorry, getting distracted. Yep, enjoy your life. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, I'll see you guys when I'm a marathon runner. Woohoo! Okay, bye.